The Spirituality Now podcast is sponsored by Delaflor Teachings International, a spiritual and systemic coaching and consulting company with the mission to help individuals, businesses, and corporations create brilliant futures through sustainable transformation. Also sponsored by the Network for Human Empowerment, a philanthropic TV network that serves Spanish-speaking communities with free, conscious education aimed to empower individuals to become the best versions of themselves. And our podcast producer, Ascend Media, Authority Syndication, delivering premium video marketing, podcast production, and social syndication.
Welcome to the Spirituality Now podcast, a podcast committed to supporting you in your journey to life mastery and personal enlightenment. Welcome to the Spirituality Now podcast. I am your host, Yvonne de la Flor, and today we have a party. Today we have more people than one joining us, not more than two. I don't know why I'm even exaggerating this, but I have two incredible women, allies, friends, teachers, just incredible forces for good in a woman form, in a human form, in humanity. And I am so excited to have them here. And before I introduce them to you both and the divine intervention they are bringing, this is the name of this podcast for a reason. That's the name of their podcast too. I want to remind you that our podcast is philanthropic based, is sponsored by my company, Delaflor Teachings International, the spiritual and systemic coaching and consulting and mentorship company that supports individuals, corporations, and any person that is carrying a human form to just get better in life, in every area of life, restoring self-faith, restoring faith in the company, in the mission, putting everything in order in the right drawers, and learn how to master the storms of life and in the process be the calm. And we are also produced by Ascend Media, Authority Syndication Marketing. They really are supporters of keeping the integrity of the messages of people. If you are planning to record a podcast or video producing, or you want any support for conscious ethical media, I really recommend that you check them out at Ascend Media, ASYND media.com. With that said, I know you're as excited as I am, and I know you don't know what am I about to say, but we're all going to pretend. I want to introduce you. I have two beautiful, they're gorgeous women, and my beloved friends. They are family, soul family. The first one has been with us before, Grace Terry. She was with us when the podcast used to be called Sovereign Futures Podcast. We did a bilingual podcast back in the days. Now she's back with the beautiful and gorgeous Sofía Montero, which, by the way, if you follow them on social media, they have the most interesting personalities, the best posts that they do, and they take incredible pictures, and they are super innovators. They don't do things as anybody else, and that's why I love not only to have them here, but we are also a team. We are all of us, we work as a team in the Network for Human Empowerment. Sofía supports the Delaflor Teachings International. Grace Terry is the spiritual, yes, I should name you spiritual, the artistic director of our network television that we have. So it's so fun to have my team here because, often in podcasts, you want to interview very well-known people. What I want is to interview very well-known people by their deeds, very well-known people that maybe the world and the media and the masses don't know yet of, but that these people behind the scenes are creating incredible contributions for the world. So Grace Terry has more than 30 years on the spiritual path. She's a soul singer, songwriter, and producer of music, of consciousness and mantras, healer, meditator, Reiki master. She's the founder of the Infinite Voice Academy and teaches meditation classes and voice workshops. She also presented some of her work at the group of Tim Grover, which is called Down and Dirty. legends. She's the art and musical director of Network for Human Empowerment. You see, this is more precise. Even though I'm a producer, I gotta get more precise here. And has twice a month a show called Elevate Your Frequency, which is like a boom in the network. Where she hosts interviews incredible, well-known people of Latin America, artists, singers, etc., etc. She has produced 8 records with different musicians such as Pablo Arellano, Gustavo Jacob, Hector Ruiz, and Angel Sanada. Grace just finished the recording of the album Sacred Love with Pablo Arellano, and she's doing concerts and workshops worldwide. I think she's finishing every week. I'm like, she has a new song, she has a new production, and they also, Grace Terry is the voice of the song that Pablo Arellano and Grace Terry composed for the documentary film The United State of Mind, usmthemovie.com. Go watch it, it's free. I'm the producer, so I'm taking advantage here. My other guest is someone that I'm going to tell you, every person that I know that knows her is like, wow, Sophie. And she's really young in her age. But people like me, like we have 50, we have 60, we have 40, we look up to Sofia. Her name is Sofía Montero, Sofia Fernández Montero. She's the co-founder of Mawu, Mawu Agency, and full-time mystic. I love that. Sofia is known for helping people reach their high spiritual potential and reflecting it in their media. Sofia and her business partner, Anaí Garrido, which we love too, founded Mawu Agency in 2020 as the purpose of her passion, which is to help others find the light they carry within. In addition to having a degree in sociology from the Autonomous Metropolitan University in Mexico, Sofia has studied everything related to magic, esoteric, and the spiritual world for 20 years. And I can testify because when I was bringing all the people, we have a nonprofit organization in Mexico called Mastery Life. And I used to bring the authors of Hay House. And 20 years ago, when nobody was doing these big events, we were doing it. Sophie was 5-year-old and attending all the training. So she was there studying with all the great teachers. She was there since she was 5. In the last year, Mawu Agency has grown organically and has reached people who seek to find consistency in their communication. As a conscious and spiritual person, Sofia considers it a great achievement to be able to create an agency hand in hand with people who have the same humanistic and social principles with which she lives. Sofia's favorite part of being a young and mystical businesswoman is the people, everything she can learn from them, and the exchange of ideas and thoughts that can be generated from building conscious communication. When Sofia is not working at Mawu Agency, you can find her laughing and enjoying herself with her dog, Sol. By the way, Sol has an Instagram, and you can follow her. We'll make sure to put it in the copy where you can find them. My beloved girls, welcome. Who are we going to start with? I think we're going to just say welcome, and we'll find a way, because Sofia is in Canada right now recording this. I'm in Las Vegas right now. Grace Terry is in Mexico. So we're doing these things. So welcome, girls.
Thank you, Yvonne. It is such an honor.
Oh, well, I guess Sophie was going to have the first say, my beloved Grace. So you both are here. You know, we've been working, like Sophie, I know you since you were 5, literally. I'm 50. I'm still the same age as when you met me. Not physically, but mentally, I feel like that. I feel like you grew up. But I want to imagine that I'm growing up younger in a way, and also older in wisdom. But you and Grace are working together, and you both have incredible work that you are doing in the world. Let's start by, what is the current work that you are doing, Sophie, right now? Besides Mawu Agency, tell us a little bit about your mystical path, and then we'll do the same with Grace, and then we'll put it together how you created your Divine Intervention podcast. So tell us a little bit about you, Sophie.
Well, this mystical journey, and thank you so much, Yvonne, for welcoming us into this podcast. This mystical journey, as you read, it started several years ago. I'm currently 26, and I started into all of the mystical journey when I was around 5. Really, all of my life has been about finding myself and finding my true power. Lately, I've been working a lot on tarot readings. I've been learning from astrology and something really funny. And Grace, feel free to jump into this. I didn't knew Grace until I think 3 years ago. It was in 2020 when I met her. So 2 years ago, but I knew who she was. I had never had a conversation with her, but I knew who she was. And I thought she was this amazing witch. And I always wanted to learn from her and with her. So one day I was like, I'm definitely going to meet Grace Terry and I'm going to learn everything I can from her. I'm going to learn astrology and I'm going to learn tarot and she's going to be my teacher. And look at us,
Wow.
2 years later, we have created something together and we're such, I can call Grace a friend, but she's also like my aunt, like this magical aunt who comes and
I
gives
love that.
wisdom and teaches me stuff and guides me into the right path. So right now it is such an honor to be able to have created such a beautiful thing with her, which I don't want to say what it is. I kind of want Grace to tell us
Yeah,
what
yeah,
it
we'll
is.
let her, and we'll have her tell the story, Sophie. And you know, your
Yes.
enthusiasm is so. I mean, Sophie, I don't like to waste my time, as you know, and I don't like to waste my time on the internet. Except I do like to see everything that you post, that Grace posts, and Rebe, your mom. You know, I'm like, if the people will see, you know, what we communicate. You are such an incredible force for good. Your energy is outstanding. You're so unique. And I love that you are honoring Grace not only as a friend, as a teacher, and that you manifested this, right? That you manifested like one day I'm going to learn with her. And now you have a podcast with her. So let's welcome Grace, my beloved sister, and get close and you see with the microphone so we can hear your very sexy voice.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, dear Yvonne. And so happy to be here with you and with Sophie. And yes, what can I say? You were the divine intervention. Totally. Because you remember, you told me, I want you to be one of the speakers for my, it was the praying scientific, something about praying that you were
Yeah,
doing.
it was 40 days of scientific prayer, 40 days of scientific prayer in Latin America that we were doing.
So you said that I was,
Prayer in
yeah,
action. Prayer in
yeah.
action. I'm forgetting what I'm teaching. I teach so many things. 40 days of prayer in action for Latin America. And so, yes, I invited you as a speaker. Let me just say, so I had this before, you know, and I hand you the microphone. So there's a little bit of more background for people that are listening. So I created this 40-day movement called 40 Days of Prayer in Action. I created many years ago a viral movement called 21 Days of Faith in Action. It literally went viral. So we had a lot of people attending, minimum 100 families every day on these 40 Days of Prayer in Action. And I had some speakers come to serve the community so they wouldn't be bored with me every day. And also for them to meet these incredible teachers on the weekends. And so I invited Grace one day and I had forgotten that I invited her. So our student coordinator, the director of a network, and she's such a powerhouse, Rebecca Montero, which she has been in our podcast too. I said, oh, let's invite Sophie. And I think I sent a message to Sophie. I don't remember well, but the thing is I forget completely about Grace, sister. I forget about you. And I invite Sophie. And Rebe tells me, Yvonne, the guest this week, the same day that you invited Sophie is Grace. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I just messed it up. And she says, well, what about, Rebe said, if they do it together, they're going to be together in the same place. And we were all traveling in San Miguel de Allende. So now I give the microphone to you, Grace.
Okay, so you had this amazing idea about us being together. And the night before, we were in this magnificent event in a gallery with Alex Lucky. So we were kind of went to bed late. So we had to wake up really early for that. So I saw like 7 a.m. Sophie from the other room and our faces. Oh my God. I say no makeup can really fix our faces this morning. But anyway, we went and we did it. And it was very funny. We had a lot of fun. We enjoyed ourselves and people really loved it. So, and I guess Sophie was the one who says, Yvonne is the divine intervention who put us this morning together. And from there, we